How's it going, everyone? Once again, it's Bob out here in my shop, and today I want to show you how to make these Harbor Freight magnetic tool holders more useful, more organized, and look a whole lot better than this. Let's do it. So if you're a fan of Harbor Freight, even a little bit, you've probably seen these magnetic tool holders. It's basically a steel bar lined with some ceramic magnets. You can find similar ones on Amazon as well, and I even have a couple of here in my shop. Most of them have some pretty hideous labels on them. But this 18-inch version is just $5 at Harbor Freight, and there's a lot of times when you can even get it on sale at $3. So it just makes it such an incredible deal for organizing your tools. They have a few flaws though. First of all, when you put your tools on it, they don't always look the most organized. Screwdrivers can sit crooked, and the tools don't always stay in the same place either, especially if they have a rounded shape to them. And since these magnetic bars allow you to put a tool anywhere along the bar, many people tend to overload them, and each tool doesn't have a specific home. I find that it highly increases the likelihood of me not putting the tool back where it's supposed to be. What's worse is you really never know when something's missing, and that's what we're going to solve today. To get started, I'm going to attach some of the magnetic bars to a plywood backing. Some I'll install in the middle, others towards the top to minimize the space they take up on the wall. When you remove a tool off these holders, I want to make it as clear as possible that something is missing. So I'm going to cover the magnetic part with some bright red craft vinyl. You can get a roll of this stuff for like $10 on Amazon. I basically measured out a rough rectangle, applied it, and then I'll trim it out with a hobby knife. Now here's where things get interesting. I've designed some simple spacers that I've 3D printed that we're going to place between the tools. They'll keep each tool straight and give it a permanent home on each holder. Let's tackle my chisels. I'm first going to put one of the large spacers just outside the magnetic area and screw it in. I've used fairly short screws so I don't need to drill any pilot holes. I'm then going to wrap my chisel in a thick piece of paper to give the spacer a little bit of clearance so the tools are easy to take out. Then I just screw it in. Now when I take a chisel out, you can easily see the bright red vinyl, which means that we're missing a tool. Time to tackle some more tools. So I first tested this idea on my screwdrivers, and I've been using this for months, and I think it works really well. Everything is nice and organized. I did make a custom mount for these ratcheting Milwaukee screwdrivers because they weren't going to quite fit well on this magnetic bar. So I made custom mounts for those screwdrivers and the magnetizer and demagnetizer. Let's load up these magnet bars with a few more tools. I made a smaller version of the spacer for smaller tools, so I'll use some of those on my Tecton pick and hook set. They also work great on small screwdrivers. I've also made these spacers in a few various widths, so you can get the proper spacing you need between each tool. This magnetic bar is home for my larger pliers and wrenches. A few of these tools are a little bit weird of a fit, but the magnetic bar still holds them really well. I also have these Tecton spring-loaded mini pliers. My spacers going straight up and down didn't work well for these, so I came up with a new design that could be placed at various angles. I'm storing them in the closed position so they take up the least amount of space as possible. Then I add on my vice grips and a small adjustable wrench. Then I worked on my Forstner bits. Now this was a little bit tricky. The biggest bits sat too close to the wood backing, so I designed some risers to add behind the magnetic bar to push it out about a ½ inch. I then modified the tool spacers and added that ½ inch to the depth. I also alternated the bits up and down so I could use the space better, just like they were laid out in the container actually. Since the sizes aren't easily visible either, I printed out some labels to put on the spacers next to each bit. Now it's super easy to grab the one I need. My router bit holder followed the same system using the ½ inch risers and deeper tool spacers, like the Forstner bits. I'm sure eventually I might do some labels on these as well. Finally, it was time to add some French cleats to them. I used some 18-gauge brad nails as well as a 1-inch No. 8 wood screw. I gave all the edges a good sanding until they were smooth. 6 new holders loaded up with hand tools. Now easy to find, easy to remove, and I know when something's missing. If I ever need to rearrange or change out tools, I can use a new piece of plywood or just rearrange the spacers on the existing piece, and you may see a few visible holes. And there we go. With some $3 magnetic bars, a little bit of wood, and some 3D printing, I now have a super functional home base for my various hand tools. Of course, I've uploaded all these various spacers to printables.com for free download. So go pick up a few of these magnetic bars from Harbor Freight and give this a try. I'd love to know if you find them useful. Thanks for watching.